I'm the computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWay. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers, right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. For the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right. We're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you have ever visited. I'd like to welcome you to your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, 89.5, and also 89.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org, as well as our amazing app that we now have in the Google Play Store and Apple App Store. You can just search for KSQD and you'll see us right there. Pretty cool. But yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to your local radio station, your local KSQD standard station. And I'd also like to say, just hi to everybody. This has been a crazy Tuesday night. It's been a crazy week, and we're going to be getting into it here real quick. If you ever say to yourself, this guy's talking a little bit quick, how am I supposed to get these steps down? Well, you can jump over to ksqd.org and listen to any of our shows for the past 2 weeks under our listening tab, the audio archive, we call it. So it's a 2-week audio archive. Click on the listening tab, then you'll go to the 2-week audio archive. And from there, you can listen to any of our shows. We got a lot of great shows from news to music, and you can listen to them all on our audio archive at ksqd.org. And of course, while you're at the amazing ksqd.org website, you got to click on that donate button, man. That's the only way that we can stick around. That's the only way that we're here is because of you, and it's for you. We wouldn't have it any other way. As I always say, we are not beholden to any other third party. We're not beholden to any other corporations. Not even these big ones I talk about, like Amazon or Apple or any of these stuff. We can say what we need to say because we are beholden to you, the listener. That's the only way to do it, is having that amazing donate button and allowing us to be on the air yet another week, yet another month, yet another year, because we are ksqd.org and we are the only ones here for you, I feel. So let's jump on there and jump on and make those donations and make it awesome. I really appreciate you. It's the only way we can keep it going, and we'll keep volunteering as much as we can to keep these electrons flowing through those boards. All right, well, if you say to yourself at any point you'd like to reach out to me after the show, you missed the show, you want to email me, you can always reach me by that email at Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. We also have on air at ksqd.org right here. I'm bringing that up so you can email me while we're on air. And there we go. Awesome. And let's see if there's anything else going on here. Well, of course, we have our phone number, 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. And you can give me a call here at the show because we are a live call-in show. That's right. What are we going to be talking about in this amazing computer man, this hour that we've been given to talk to you out there on the listener land? Well, we're all about updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and most importantly, our call-ins. What is going on your bench? I usually try to take what's going on at my shop, kind of comprise it into a big chunk of stuff. If there's anything big to look out for or something coming down the pipeline, we want to make sure you let you know about it. But most importantly, what's going on with your stuff today that maybe I haven't even seen yet? So you can give me a call here at 831-900-5773 or jump on there online and on air at ksqd.org. And I'd love to hear from you. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And again, our phone number, 831-900-5773 or on air at ksqd.org. Okay, let's see if we got into any of the scams today. Scams. I don't know if there's a lot of anything new for the Scam Central that we're talking about. A couple more fake websites out there for some of the shopping. I think that's going to start ramping up a little bit more as we get closer to holiday season, because we're getting close to holiday season. And we're going to see some of these other very sophisticated fake websites pop up. So it's as simple as just looking at the top of your browser bar and looking at where you are. And it's all you have to do is kind of at the beginning of the website, if you first get onto it, just make sure it says Costco.com and not with 3 S's, or Amazon with 2 Z's or something. Something like that can cause you a lot of problems. It can be fake, it can look real, it can look almost right. You're like, well, I thought there was only 1 Z in Amazon. Whatever, I'll just keep shopping. Don't do that. So just be a little vigilant and just take a look and see where you're going to be starting, especially if you're spending money, especially if you're putting things in and you're like, oh, that's weird. I thought I had my account information saved already. Oh, that's weird. I thought I already had my credit card. Oh, that's weird. It's not taking my login. Oh, that's weird. Make sure you're actually on the correct website. We've had so many people who don't want to call for help. And I understand. That's fine. That's fine. I get it. But by not calling for help when they see something kind of weird, then they just go further and further down the rabbit hole. Then all of a sudden they're giving out credit card information, and all of a sudden now we have our usernames and our passwords and things out in the world when they should not be, and it just gets worse and worse. So be careful. Just be careful. Of course, if you're ever curious, I've been pushing the cyber101.com website. It's a pretty cool website, cyber101.com. They cover everything from phishing to passwords and going on to multi-factor authentication, malware, ransomware, device security. It's a pretty nice little website, and what's nice about it is that they're really pushing how they don't do any data mining. They don't do anything besides exactly what they're saying on the website. You can sign in and create your account and look at things. You can start little classes, continue your learning. You could start new learning if you want, keep track of it, graduate from the end of it. They're also going to be doing they're basically just trying to get the knowledge out to people. It's really nice. Very rarely do you see something like this that actually exists that does what it's saying it's doing. And this is one of those things that's saying what it's doing. So pretty nice. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Let's see anything else. Not really anything in the scam area. You know, it's always about watching where those emails are coming in, hitting that down arrow, making sure the email is coming from the person you think it's coming from or the organization that you think it's coming from. And again, if it asks you to sign into something, just jump on your app if you've got one. Amazon, Facebook, all these websites that will send you something saying, hey, you need to reset your password. If you jump onto the app without responding to the email and you can get on just fine, you don't need to be listening to the email, right? Even though the email says that, I had not a contentious conversation, but it got not even heated, but it got heightened a little bit because the person was saying, well, I've got the email. I'm like, I know you got the email. The email's not real. It's a fake. Well, I got it right there. It's sitting in my email. I know. Yes. Okay. You did get an email. It's a real email. There's an email. It's in your box. Yes, it exists, but it's not really from the people who you think it's sent from. Well, you know, I'm like, yeah, let's sign into your app right now. Can you sign in? Yeah, I can sign in just fine. Okay. Then we don't need to pay attention to the email. I just want to, you know, I get it. It's two things coming at you at once, but we just don't need to. We can back away from that. Okay, let's get into some of the things that are actually going on. You know, actually, on our segue into scams or out of scams, you can now get fined for writing a fake review online. And, you know, it's a little bit of change here. The FTC announced a ban on writing, buying, or selling fake reviews online. And under the new rule, anyone who participates in a fake online review could be fined up to, I don't know, but like $100, $200? Nope, $51,744. Yeah, the commissioners voted an agreement, and it's now in effect. It includes AI-generated reviews, which have recently invaded Amazon as in the last 2-3 years, and also encompasses dishonest celebrity endorsements as well as testimonials posted by a company's employees, relatives, or friends, unless they include an explicit disclaimer. There was a car insurance thing that was going around being sold by Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks is like, "What? What? No, it's not me. I'm not into insurance or car insurance or whatever they're trying to sell." And it was full on Tom Hanks, his face, his voice, his mouth moving, everything. And it was not real. It was not real at all. It was a AI thing. But now there are actual penalties if you are part of this. Well, you know, there used to be things. I'm kind of curious where this falls in the area. There used to be organizations or even just people on Amazon who were trying to sell their stuff and they're trying to get in the door. And you could. I used to be one of these people who would receive the emails from people going, "Hey, I've got this product. It does this, it does that. I'd like to send you one of the products, but what I want you to do first is write me a review. As soon as you write the review and it gets posted online, I'll send you the product and you get to keep it for free." And the product could be garbage. It could be 50 paper fans, or it could be a mosquito catcher, or it could be a battery bank, or it could be a cable, or something. It could be anything. Any of the stuff that gets sold on eBay. On Amazon. But then they would want me to write the review first even though I hadn't received it, hadn't seen it or anything. And then as soon as it's published, I got to receive it for free. The other side would be to send me the device for free. I then use it and then write a review on it. And if it's a 5-star review or whatever they said that they need, then they would then reimburse me for the cost of the item. And so I wonder how, and there's still a lot of people who do things like that. I mean, even like the YouTubers who, receive products. I look at new products that are coming out for networking and all sorts of stuff. And people online will get those products and then review them. And I wonder, of course they say they're getting reviewed and stuff. So I think that's the caveat, right? It's saying that you're being paid as a paid spokesman for this thing. So, yeah, I guess just last month, Google updated its review restrictions document with new business profile restrictions for policy violations. Stated that many Google Maps business profiles caught with fake reviews will be unable to receive new reviews for any given period, have its existing reviews or rating unable to be published for a specific time period, and have the page show a warning message to users informing them about non-compliant reviews having been removed. And this can get into, look at Yelp. If you can, see $1 Billion Bully. It is the way that Yelp uses predatory practices, and I've experienced it myself. You get a call from Yelp. Hey, advertise with us. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. Oh, you really should advertise with us. No, I don't really want to do that. Thank you very much. Okay, no problem. And then all of a sudden now your search, which was like, 2, 3, 4 from the top, is now 13, 14, 15 from the bottom. And one time, this was years ago, I got this fake review all of a sudden, literally within 3 to 5 days of someone, of me saying no to Yelp for their review. For their advertising. And it was, I don't know if how many of you out there have been to my old shop. We were out actually in Pleasure Point on the corner of 41st and Portola. It was a little 700 square foot closet. It was this little tiny room. And you walk in the front, I have a little front desk right there, and you walk in, you see me working on the computers right behind the desk. There it is. That's the whole room. And on the review, the person said they had come into my shop, waited in my lobby for over an hour. And finally, when someone came out to say hello to them, that they checked their computer in, and within 2 days, I had sold it. And they never got their computer back. And this is just isn't good business practice. And I read this review and went, what? What are you talking? Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Someone stood in my lobby, which is literally, maybe 25 square foot of even that, not even that, like 18 square foot, and there's a desk. There's no lobby. It's the whole room is the lobby, right? There's no way someone could have stood in the front of my shop for more than a couple seconds with me not seeing them unless I had headphones on, turned around or something for an hour. And then to say that I got their computer and I didn't fix it, but I turned around and just sold it. It was quite the thing. So when I just recently talked to Yelp, because they call me, I say, no, I don't want to do anything with your business. And they go, okay, fine, whatever. Pound rocks. They screw with my search. And then I hear from them about 2 years later when some new activities thing goes back and through, because we're pretty highly rated on Yelp, to be honest. We have like 90 positive reviews, and we've got I think there's 5 negative, and 2 of them were real. 2 of them were real people that we just couldn't come to an agreement on, and they decided to post on Yelp, and that's okay. In fact, I invite you to go and read those negative reviews. And then there was, 2 that we actually talked back to. I think there was 5 total. And then there was this 1 or 2 that were just totally fake. And there was from somebody that had posted from Minnesota, but it was out of state, and they had multiple reviews and little awards and stuff like that. So their review went to the top. When I recently just talked with somebody at Yelp, not even a couple days ago, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? We're from Yelp. We really want you to advertise with you. And it's really great. And your business is doing really well. We want you to do better and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you sound like a really nice person. I'm sure you're really nice. Your business is awful. It's awful what you guys do. It's awful this. And then I told them about that review. Oh, geez, we'll look into it. Oh, gosh. That I'm like, okay. But it's the same thing with the Better Business Bureau. You can just pay to play. If you have a brand new business, you just pay the Better Business Bureau to give yourself a 5-star rating, and you now have a 5-star rating with the Better Business Bureau. Woohoo. And you can do that with Yelp. You can do it with any of these companies. So if you receive something like that, if you get something like that, then the fake review stuff used to drive me crazy, because you just see every review kind of as a fake review, and then I double check on Reddit to see if stuff is real. And now Reddit's starting to get a little weird too. So phony online reviews are harmful not just because they mislead consumers, but because they create unfair competition, says the FTC chair, Lena Khan. By strengthening the FCC's toolkit to fight deceptive advertising, the final rule will protect Americans from getting cheated, put businesses that unlawfully game the system on notice, and promote markers that are fair, honest, or markets that are fair, honest, and competitive. That's good. That's good. Fake reviews suck, so that's great. They're doing something neat. Another thing, so Apple just had another like a little release party or whatever it was, and they came out with the new stuff on the new iMacs. I just want to talk about it real quick. They made one of those infographics that tells all the new things about it, and there's really not much going on. They have some new colors, which I don't know if anyone cares about. I mean, maybe somebody does, but there's new colors. Okay, whatever. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 17 little boxes that they made around the iMac, including the middle box, right? And I would say 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 of these are just obvious statements. One of them says world's best all-in-one. That's one of their features. One of the features is up to 6 times faster than the most popular Intel-based iMac. So the last Intel-based iMac, it's 6 times faster than their old one. Okay, cool. It has, Mac OS Sequoia. Every new Mac has Sequoia. So they're really trying to find things that they could put on here. It's 2 times faster than an iMac with an M1, which is their first one that came out. So it's twice as fast, up to twice as fast. Just you're like, dude, that tells me right there that you guys, even though the processor's good, the M1 is still kicking butt. I've got my M2 Mac, and it's awesome. It is really fast. I can't imagine switching it out right now because it's doing everything as quick as I can. But again, they're doing some other stuff. Phone mirroring, which we talked about in iOS Sequoia, and also Mac OS Sequoia, or actually iOS 18. I'm sorry, there's no names on them. But with iOS 18 and Mac OS Sequoia, you can do phone mirroring. You can see your phone on your Mac screen, which is pretty cool. You can have up to 32 gigs of unified memory, which I'm sure is very expensive because they charge, I think, 10 times the cost of normal memory for upgraded RAM because it's Apple. That's it. You can do Touch ID on the keyboard, which I think you've been able to do for the past 5 years. Okay. There's the new M4 chip, which is higher than the M3. Okay. M3 is pretty powerful. The M4 is also powerful, maybe a little more powerful. They have a 12 megapixel center stage camera. This is kind of cool. That's one thing that's kind of neat. They've been doing it for a little while. The camera will actually kind of focus on you. And if you go away a little further, the focus will kind of, center you in the frame if you're moving away from the screen a little bit. It's kind of cool. So it puts you on center stage. That's the idea. It also supports up to 2 displays externally and has a 6-speaker sound system. I don't know. I mean, if you need a new iMac, yeah, this is my iMac's fine. Do you need to go out and buy this new iMac if you already have an iMac? No. Are you an Intel-based iMac and you're looking for a new one? Do you want to buy this one? Yeah, it's okay. It's a good machine. It's just not something you need to step up from your M3 to. That's it. And it's the same thing. You don't need to step up from your M2 or even your M1 unless you want a new color or you're doing something super intensive and you want to cut off, instead of it taking 15 minutes to render that video, you want it to take like 12 minutes or 11 minutes, then maybe that would be something you'd want to jump into this for. But other than that, there's really no reason to jump into this. Same thing with the iPhone 16. I was talking for a long time. I was going to pick up an iPhone 16. I'm going to get an iPhone 16. It's going to be great. The only thing that's better is that it's the higher number and it'll do this Apple Intelligence stuff. My iPhone 12 Pro Max has a great camera. It's not as good as the new as like the 13 or the 14 or the 15 or the 16. I think the 14, 15, 16 all have the same cameras. That might be the 13 as well. Anyway, but that's one of the only things I would get for the phone, and also being a little bit faster when it opens some of the apps. Like if I have to buy something at bestbuy.com or Best Buy's app, it's slow. Okay, it still opens, it still works, it still functions. I'm okay. So I don't need to spend $1,200 on a new phone because my phone is doing everything it needs to do. And I don't really get much of an upgrade because the phone still kind of looks like one of the newer phones. So even if I wanted to be cool, I still have the faux coolness of having a phone that looks pretty new. So, so talking about Apple as well, they, in that display thing that they had with Apple, they showed the new Apple Magic Mouse. And the Magic Mouse is their wireless mouse. It's not magic. It doesn't do anything magic. It's just that's what they call their accessories, magic accessories, because they connect wirelessly, which by most people's description is magic. But the new Magic Mouse's charging port is again on the bottom. If you go and look at it, you can do the 3D rendering where you move it around and stuff and look at it. And they put the charging port on the bottom. And people are, oh, master, just up in roars again about the charging port being on the bottom. Okay, so why is the charging port on the bottom? Everyone asks. Why is the Apple USB-C equipped Magic Mouse still has a charging port on the bottom, even though they switched the port from from the Lightning cable to USB-C? Why is it still on the bottom? say, well, Apple could have used the launch as an opportunity to move the charging port from the underside of the device, where the port has remained for nearly a decade. Despite other updates to the mouse being mocked for its decision, the port is still there. And when you show the view in your space augmented reality thing for the mouse, you can actually look underneath it and do it. It's $99 for the Magic Mouse, but why? Why is it on the bottom? So I want to just talk about batteries for a second. Most people, when they have wireless mice, I go to people's homes all the time. I see people in their operating environment all the times. They will have a Logitech wireless mouse that has the little plug-in on the front for the cable, and that cable is running to the back of the computer. And that's it. They're using their wireless mouse as a wired mouse. Well, I couldn't figure out how to get set up wirelessly. I couldn't sync it. It stopped syncing, and I couldn't figure it out, so I plugged it in, and that was it. And what Apple wants is not that. They want you to be wireless. They want it to be wireless no matter what. They don't want you to have a single cable on your desk that's plugged into something, even though you need that stuff for other things. Your keyboard and your mouse and the Mac should be seamless and have that look of wirelessness. If you wanted to plug in the mouse to charge it, just say, you know what, I don't want to deal with it, I don't care about the wireless, you can't, because they put it on the bottom. And why they do that, not only for their Paradigm stuff, but also because I believe the battery is not that great. And the battery, by buying a lesser quality battery, or not even lesser quality battery, but maybe like spending a little bit less on the battery, that they could force you to do battery cycling properly. How do they do that? The battery runs out of power. And it probably runs out of power like 30% rather than running out of 0%. So at 30%, it drops down to 30. You then turn the mouse upside down and plug it in, and you can't use the mouse. It has to be upside down. If it's upside down, it doesn't work, right? So if it's upside down, then it's charging, and then it means it's off. It's not doing anything. It can do just its charge cycle, and of course, it'll charge in like 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever it is, and then you're at 100% or 80% or 90%, and then you can use it for another full cycle. And that will allow the mouse to live its longest life based on charging and charging life. It also gives Apple a lot of control over when they want the mouse to be charged, because they can just cut out this, at 30%, 40%, and make it so that the mouse turns off when they want it to. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of annoying. It's also showing that they're really trying to be controlling of what they want their operating environment to look like, as well as the charging environment for what they want in the future. So I think it's a battery thing. I've heard multiple things of other people, what they think it is and why it's like that, but I really feel it's a battery charging thing, and also it's an aesthetic thing. And there are a number of people that actually make these little L-shaped cables that go underneath. They'll slide into the USB-C, and then they'll have a very, very thin ribbon cable that slides out the front, and then you can plug in a cable so you can turn that wireless mouse into a wired mouse, even though the charging port's on the bottom. So some people, there's always a workaround, right? And you can get into it. But that's kind of where we're at. So, Magic Mouse, yay, that's fun. Let's see if there's anything else. And Apple launched its new Mac Mini. It's built for Apple Intelligence. It's got a fan as well. Got a bunch of. It's a faster Mac, and it's the newer one. So, Mac Mini, the M4 Mac Mini, those starts at $599, which is kind of nice. And if you're an educational person, you can get it for $499, which is kind of cool. The Mac Mini with the M4 Pro starts at $1399. So more than double the cost for the M4 Pro from the M4. So again, if you need that, you'll know. If you're doing rendering or any type of things that take a while for it to process. If you're processing giant zip files, something like that, my M4 Pro might be a little bit faster, or it would be faster, but it might be a little more advantageous to get things done quicker. But if you need a machine, it's great to get one. If you don't need a machine, you don't need to jump in this, because there's not a lot of new bells and whistles. It looks basically the same as last year's, just a little bit faster, right? Okay, cool. Let's see if anything else going on before we get into our emails in the halfway point here on the Computer Man Show on KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQD 90.7 FM, and KSQD.org, as well as our amazing, cool app. I downloaded the app a couple weeks ago, a couple days after it actually came out, and it's really cool. Like you'll see like we have our little banner thing, the Computer Man, that pops up. When we fire up the app, it says what show you're listening to below. You kind of go through the archive. You can always do that Vox Pop app thing too at the bottom, where you can actually send us a video or a text message, an audio message that comes across as text, that we also get the audio from, and we can hear from you and see what you like right from the app. Pretty cool. Is there anything else going on in the scammer world before we get onto it? Just real quick before we get into the iOS mirroring. I've heard some people wanted to do this. You have a couple things you need to get set up. Your iPhone has to have iOS 18. That's important. The Mac that you're going to be using has to have OS Sequoia. That's the new operating system, the new Sequoia operating system. You have to actually, there's a iPhone mirroring app that you have to launch from your MacBook or your iMac or your MacBook Pro, whatever you're doing. You have to launch the iPhone mirroring app, and then there'll be a continuation of some type of pop-up information screen that will pop up in the center screen, and then it'll ask you what iPhone you want to connect to, and if you have more than one iPhone on the network. And then you'll need to unlock your iPhone with a passcode to allow the connection. So you have your phone with you, you start the app on the MacBook, it starts up, it asks you which phone, you say the phone, and then the phone will then prompt you for your passcode to make sure you're okay to unlock it. And then it will say, get started. Use the Touch ID on the Mac to authenticate or enter in your password to make sure you have authentication for the Mac. And then also that will allow you control of both devices. So kind of cool. You can also opt in to have it require authentication every time you connect on the very first time you set up, or you can allow it to connect automatically. If it does automatic, you don't need to authenticate with Touch ID or password to use phone mirroring if your Mac is already unlocked. So otherwise, you'll need to authenticate every single time. So it's kind of cool. You can use the keyboard, you can use the mouse, the audio, the camera, the microphone. Your iPhone notifications will show up on your Mac. You've got, you can put your phone on a charger in standby mode, and it'll show the time and stuff. Like you have it on the side, the little standby clock that it does. It's kind of cool. Do dragging and dropping. That's one of the biggest thing I think. When people want their photos out of their phone and they're like, oh, I'm not really sure how to get it out. You can do, airdropping and stuff, and they're not really sure how to do that. If you have the iPhone mirroring, you could literally just drag and drop it on your desktop, and it will do that process in the protocol for you. Kind of cool. There are also some resizing things, so you can have it mirror the display size of your iPhone or set it to be one size bigger or one size larger, which is kind of cool as well. So there's some stuff. It says the limitations will not work if the Mac is using AirPlay to stream music or video content to another device, or if Sidecar is enabled with iPad. The continuity camera cannot be enabled either. So if you're using your iPhone as a webcam for your Mac, you can't use iPhone mirroring at the same time. And I guess that kind of makes sense. All the protocols working for one thing and not another. So cool. Well, we've reached a halfway point here in another Computer Man show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM. And always online at ksqd.org. And actually, if you haven't checked out the website recently, there's been some really cool stuff going on. And we also have just the articles that we've been able to get. And I actually want to bring it up here, see if we can bring that up. Bam. It's just a cool place to go. If you want to, see what's going on in town, you want to hear about some of the new shows we've got coming up, or even just some of the things that are coming up on some of our existing shows, especially with the election and everything coming up. So jump on to ksqd.org and hit that awesome red donate button at the top, and we really appreciate it for it. So again, this is the Computer Man Show here on KSQD and ksqd.org. We're going to hit up some underwriting real quick, see what's going on out there in the real world. Don't go anywhere. We will be literally right back. A quick reminder, that car you've been hanging on to, the one you're not using anymore, it could be worth hundreds of dollars in support to K-Squid. It's easy to do. Learn more at ksqd.org.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance abuse crisis, 988 provides connection to free, confidential support. There is hope. A lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
My name is Luigi Opito, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of The Computer Man Show, a one-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on The Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer.
Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Bee in the Night,
bring you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
Yes, gotta love some jazz. Always love jazz. And jazz is the best thing to let this computer nonsense ooze out of your ears, as we always say. And with Bobby B and B in the Night coming up right after the Computer Man show at 7 o'clock, you can do that together. We can do it all together. I always listen to it on the way home and then kick it on while we're listening to eating dinner. And it's great. Bobby B does a great job. And also we have amazing jazz Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights, all from 7 to 10. So stick around and let it happen to you. It's great. Also on November 1st, if you are invited to an evening for hospice in Aptos. The Sock Shop and Shoe Company will be host this event to benefit Hospice of Santa Cruz County. Excuse me. Enjoy live music from local band Lefty Rosa and have a chance to win some amazing raffle prizes. The music starts at 5:30 at their Santa Cruz store, 1515 Pacific Avenue. And more information is available online at sockshopandshoecompany.com. Again, this is brought to you by PSA at ksqd.org. So check that out. Pretty cool coming up. Put that right back in the binder there. All right, and we are back with the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Let's get to some email questions. My packet is getting thinner, but you guys keep emailing me. It's great. Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. All right, let's get into it and see what we got going on here. Okay, my ex is somehow watching me through my phone or a hidden camera. Ugh, any help? Okay, so that's general. Let's talk about a couple ways that could happen. So first, let's go through kind of one of the obvious things, the hidden camera ones. Not obvious, but one of the lesser liked ones is the hidden camera stuff. So hidden cameras, they can be pinhole cameras. They can be hiding in all sorts of creepy places. You can now with our cell phones and a lot of other technical things, but if you have a cell phone and you've got a Bluetooth scanner, Bluetooth scanners work really well. Wi-Fi scanners also work really well. If you have an Android phone, you can get these free scanners and you can just scan in your home for any weird networks. If you go onto your computer and you look at the networks that are on your computer, you have a pretty good idea when you're at home, your neighbors' Wi-Fis and stuff like that. You see them pretty often on your phone, and you might see something that's a little bit different. That might be broadcasting something else. There could be everything from, using the little red blinky light that you look through that will see the pinhole cameras in the walls, to doing signal scans in the room to make sure that nothing is coming out via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. That's pretty rare. I mean, I've gone and scanned a lot of wireless areas to see if there are hidden cameras, hidden things, and I've installed cameras and things in government applications and stuff. So I've seen a lot of different places and ways that these things can be installed, but it's kind of on the lesser side of the creepiness. This one says, the ex is somehow watching me through my phone or a hidden camera. This one, I kind of wrote to them real quick and asked if they had any type of joint Apple account or had shared any type of Apple account. Because if from this person, what they were talking about, they were saying that the person was getting, they would know when they made a purchase or something. Well, if you get a notification on your phone that someone else made a purchase from their phone, then most likely you're sharing something. You're sharing, and most likely it's an Apple ID or a Google account or some type of thing that you guys have shared or you've given access to. I'd be curious if they can get into your Google account. If they can read your emails and see what apps you install. If that's the case, then that's a password thing. So we need to get in, change your password, and then there's a very important button that says log out of all your devices. This button is so important if you get screwed with, because people go, I changed my password, and you go, yeah, but look at your list of devices. There's 13 devices here. Did you click out log out of all my devices? Because if you do that log out button, it doesn't matter who has your password at that point or who's in it, because you just changed your password and then you just logged everybody out. Now they're all kicked out, and if they try to get back in with that same password that they had hacked or they had purchased or whatever they have it from, they're not going to be able to. It's done. They're out. So that's also really important. The big thing also, too, is your recovery email things. So if you, first before we do that, if you were to go to the Google account, on the left, you'll see security. On the devices panel, you'll see manage all devices. And then you'll see the device where you're currently signed in on your iPhone or your Mac or your PC, whatever you're using. And then, and what also other devices have been on in the last couple of weeks. Then you can click on a device to see some details, etc. And you'll also see places where you've signed out. They'll have signed out indication, or if there's multiple sessions from that same device type, they may all be on one device or on multiple devices. Just look at the details. If you can get in there, and if you're not sure, sign out. If you're not sure at all, sign out from every device, because now you have your password because you just reset it, and you can just put your password back in on any device that is signed in. Gosh, it's just the Apple ID. I see less and less. I see it less and less, but I do see people come in that share Apple IDs. It was cute to share email addresses back in the day, and you guys can still share email addresses. That's okay. That's fine. Don't share an Apple ID. You just don't want to do it. Each human or each being should have their own Apple ID, their own Google account. There's no reason to share that stuff unless you're using some joint account and then you have your own as well, right? You should have that own thing, because then purchases and text messages and all these things get tied in together. And then if there's something that happens later on, like, I have two clients right now that are both getting divorces, and they have joint Apple IDs, and they're trying to get their text messages separated. They're trying to get all this, and it's just not going to happen. They're each going to have to start their own Apple ID. They're each going to have to start over and get all their text messages and upload all their contacts and do all that stuff separately now, because they joined this single Apple ID. So the phone or the hidden camera thing, I'd like to know a little bit more if you actually have something that a hidden camera came through, but because most of this is probably just account sharing, or you use the person's computer and left the account logged in and it stayed logged in for a week or two and they were able to do stuff, or refresh it, that kind of stuff. So again, it's all about password, but I'd like to know a little bit more information. But that also is something: manage all your devices, log out of all your devices. When I reset, 2 or 3 Facebook email address password combinations a week, I always go in and log out of all devices, because who knows? You don't know if someone else logged in, or you left it logged in some other place, and then someone else has your account and screws with you, whatever. Just log out of all devices. You have your password, log back in. Okay, this was good. Is my PC technician lying? Probably. No, I'm just kidding. I got an RX 570, which is a graphics card. I got this from my cousin, and I'm planning to put it into my PC. My current PC has an i3 4160 and a GT 730 GPU. Okay, so first of all, let's look at that processor. One of the things I do with processors when they give me a number like that, i3, i5, i7, is that number that follows it. Like, this is an i3, and then it's a 4160. So what I'll do is I'll type that in, i3 4160, and I'll type in Passmark after that. Passmark is a company that I've been using for 20 plus years. They've been around forever, and they do CPU benchmarks. And so Passmark Software is a company that's been doing CPU benchmarks forever. They have over 1 million CPUs benchmarked. And what we want to do is we want to look at the overall score, the multi-thread rating. Right now, a standard computer, if you go down to Costco, Best Buy, whatever, a standard decent $500, $600, $700 laptop that has a current day processor in it, if you were to type in that processor into Passmark, it would give you a score, a multi-thread rating of about anywhere from 17,000 to 25,000 on the high end. Okay, so that's just your number, 17,000, 25,000. Right now in our shop, if you have a computer that rates about 5,000 or more, so like I bought a brand new laptop at the end of 2020, and I kind of maxed it out. It wasn't crazy, but it wasn't a gaming laptop, but it was like a nicer Lenovo, the Carbon series. So I got a little bit nicer processor. My processor rates around 15,000 now. It was killer back in the day, but it's still rated at 15,000, but 15,000 was the high end before. Now it's more like 25,000, 30,000. And so my 15,000, granted it's still good, is not as best as it could be. But we want it over 5,000. If we see in the 4,000, 3,000, 2,000s, that processor is starting to be left behind. It doesn't have enough oomph, enough power to really push through Windows 10, Windows 11, and give you the experience that you're expecting from your machine. So this person wrote me, RX 570 for my cousin, planning to put it in my PC. My current PC has an i3 4160. I went to Passmark.com, or did a Google search with Passmark in the search, and I see that the multi-thread rating of this machine is like 3519. So it's below my 5,000 threshold. It's a slow machine. It's going to be slow. It's not going to be super slow like the ones that rate 1,000 or 900 or something like that. Those ones are almost unusable. But it's a slower machine. So the person said, I had my PC technician come over, and he told me that I have to change my motherboard since it doesn't support the RX 570. He said that GPUs have a specific motherboard requirement, but as far as I know, any GPU works with modern motherboards that has an X16 PCIe slot. Okay, so just again, to stop right there, a 16 PCIe slot. That is the standard slot for video cards, graphics cards, advanced graphics cards. We used to have something called an AGP port, which is called the Advanced Graphics Port. That was literally just for graphics. In fact, when you look at the old graphics cards, the pin sets were squished together. They were wide, and they have a pin on top and a pin on bottom, and they would have like a little skinny tine that would go to a big fat one, and on the bottom there'd be a fat one that would go to a really skinny one, and they would go alternating over the top of each other, so you could squeeze a lot more pins into a smaller space. And that's what AGP did. Now, with the PCIe Express cards and the PCIe Express 16 slots, it's pretty standardized. And if you have one of those wider slots that used to be white for PCI, just for PCI, they're now black or red, or they're changing colors and stuff. They're just not the white that they used to be. That PCI slot should take anything that plugs in. Literally, anything that plugs into that slot will work. Now, granted, are you going to be able to find a driver? I don't know. Are you going to have enough power to power it? I don't know. Do you have enough? Is your power supply going to be able to power it? I don't know. It should. All this stuff should if it's the right stuff. But the slot, if it fits in the slot, it should work based on the architecture. That's the whole point of all these plugs and slots and different shapes and stuff. If it fits, it should work. That's the idea. Okay, so moving on. So he also stated that I need to change my PSU, power supply unit, since it didn't have the 6+2 PCIe cable, which is true. But the deal breaker is that he said that the minimum PSU I needed is an 80 plus gold, and anything below that will blow up, which I thought was crazy, and I think that is crazy. I think he's just bluffing to get money out of me, so just to make sure, I wanted to double check on it. I have a standard H81 motherboard. Okay, so the PSU thing, total bull. The 80 plus gold thing is a rating based on power drop and power. You don't need that to run this card. Any power supply unit will do the provided out. It will do what you need it to do as long as the power output is good. That 80 plus rating is simply an efficiency rating, like as in how much power pulled from the outlet becomes available to the computer at different loads. So if it's just saying that it will do over 80% of the efficiency coming out that it will put back into your machine, and not a lot of electricity is lost. That's it. That's all that is. The 6+2 PCIe cable, that is also true. You do need to have a cable that will plug into the graphics card, and sometimes the graphics card will have 2 of those 6-port plugs, or it'll have a 6-port and an 8-port. If that's the case and you don't have that on your power supply, I would check your wattage of your power supply. Every power supply that's above 600 watts, 700 watts should have that plug because it's rated for that. But if you don't, you might need to upgrade your power supply. But it's not super expensive. 140, 150 bucks, 90 bucks. You can get one that's decent that will give you the power that you need to power that card. There are also adapter cables that you can get that will run from other parts of the power supply that you're maybe not using, that might be able to then supply the power that you might not have just out of the box. So there shouldn't be any problem connecting a PCIe 3.0 card to any prior PCIe implementation port. There just isn't. And then later on I saw that the chipset was actually marked, and after I did a quick Google search, many people are rocking that exact same configuration, an H81 motherboard with an RX 570. So you might want to find a new computer guy, or either that, or just ask, hey, I did this research, what do you mean? And see if they do a little weird, or I didn't know that. Because I get stuff shown to me, and I'll be like, that's weird. I didn't think it worked that way. Let me double check. And then I go, yeah, look at that. It actually does. It used to not do that, but now it looks like it's doing that. And that's science, right? We know what we know until we don't. And then we figure it out, and we replace those things. We go, you know what? What I used to think actually isn't right anymore. I'm currently wrong. I would like to be right. I'm now going to say these things are the correct things. And that's okay. That's okay. But again, I find that if you can find a computer person that says, I don't know, you should hold on to them very close, because it seems in this business, in this world, in this industry, that there's a lot of know-it-alls, I guess. So just to take it out there. Okay. How can I get rid of AVG and Norton? They are legal malware. There's other words here. They are legal malware. I'm going to omit those other words. Revo uninstaller doesn't do anything, and when I try to uninstall, it tells me I need administrative permission, which makes 0 sense. Okay. So, yeah, okay. You do need administrative permission because you gave administrative permission to allow the program to install itself. Let me explain. So when AVG does a search on your machine and finds something and wants to delete it, you have told it, yeah, that's okay. Do it. Quarantine it. You move my files around if you find something bad, right? That's what you told it to do. So AVG is going to need administrator privileges to do that because that's an administrative level thing to have the computer function. You don't want it to just delete files on you unless you've told something specifically to do that. So AVG needs to do that. In order to get rid of it, I could be a virus saying, hey, AVG, run your uninstaller. Get rid of yourself so I can live. And so it needs to know that you're there actually uninstalling to get rid of it. But I digress. On top of that, these programs make it very difficult to get rid of themselves. So the best way to get rid of Norton, the best way to get rid of McAfee, the best way to get rid of, well, those two particularly, are to go to the websites or do a Google search and get the McAfee removal tool, get the Norton removal tool. And it's going to be a little tricky. It's going to try to trick you. Why do you want to do that? Gosh, don't you want to reinstall? Don't you want to do this? Don't you want to do that? No, I want to get rid of it. And so there might be a couple weird links you have to click on to go through it, and just make sure you're still on the McAfee site. It might take you to Major Geeks or something like that to download it. But the Norton removal tool used to be called NRT. That's all it was called. The McAfee removal tool was called the MCRT or something like that. And they don't name it something that makes sense because they don't want you clicking on it. They don't want you running it. They don't want their software off your machine. So they're going to make it kind of difficult. But that would be the best way to get rid of them. With AVG, you should be able to just go. I just did an AVG uninstallation today. You should be able to just go to the control panel, which also is kind of hard to find. If you hit the start menu at the bottom and start typing control panel still exists. It's still there. You can use it. At that point, you can go to add and remove programs and remove it. The fact that you're trying to remove AVG and Norton using Revo, which is also a great uninstaller, I'll also remove things out of the registry, etc. You're stopping yourself because it's asking you for administrator tools. Or right-click on Revo uninstaller before you run it, and run it as an administrator. And that way, then Revo will actually do what you want it to do without any extra permissions. But also with the removal tools, when you run them, if you right-click on them and run as administrator, that will also give the full suite of allowance to make sure the software pulls off what you want it to and not stop or ask you permission. Okay, let's see. Oh, another one here. This is a good one. Everything is getting hacked. I had every once in a while I get someone that comes in. What's wrong with it? Welcome to the shop. What's going on? Like, everything's wrong. Is that it? Do you want to give me anything else? This machines. It's just awful. Nothing's working. Well, does it turn on? Well, yeah, it turns on. Can you sign in? Yeah, I can sign in. Can you get online? I'm online. Yeah, I can get online. Are you checking your mail? Yeah, I can get my mail. So what's going on? So this person says everything's getting hacked. Everything. Basically, what the title says, I had one of my Gmails try to get hacked. Instagram, Spotify, Riot account. This one sounds like it's actually everything's getting hacked. I already ran it through Have I Been Pwned, which your email address, haveibeenpwned, pwned.com. It's a great website as a basic look to see if you have your email address out there into some other fingers, etc. They said they have got nothing off of that. Changed my passwords to everything, used Malwarebytes and the base Windows antivirus to scan my PC, came up with nothing. I also read that I should reinstall my operating system, but if it's coming from my PC. Reinstall my operating system, but if it's coming from my PC, but can I keep my files or does it need to be a full clean of the system? Okay, and this person also said, I got a 2-factor authentication warning for everything that was attempting to get hacked. So you were getting text messages. Okay, so you had 2-factor authentication on, the person was trying to get online, and then your phone was blowing up saying, here's your code, here's your code, here's your code, when you are not prompting for that code. Okay. It says, I haven't given out for any personal information to any websites for a few weeks before this started or happened, and nor have I downloaded any applications aside from Malwarebytes to do the scans. Okay, so do you have a password saver on your PC? That could be. I've seen some people have some issues. I mean, password managers are very good, but if you leak that master password, that also could be something that could come out there. If they've got a hold of that, then they're just using a program and logging you in with everything. All it takes is that one email address and password leak, right? So if you have the same email address and password combination on a number of websites and that one website gets it leaked, they're going to buy it, and then they're going to try to plug into every website that exists and see which ones work. And if you have it on numbers of them, it's going to work. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious. Also, reinstalling Windows, putting on top of the existing one will most likely take care of it, but it might also not do that depending on what's going on. Be more interesting to find out actually what's happening rather than just installing them over the top of itself at that point. But also, even after, I've read other things and seen other people with it, even after changing passwords, people are, the hackers still getting into the passwords, and they were getting changed and locked out. This is another thing that we actually were just talking about just recently, redirects and also the recovery email. If you go in, if someone gets your username and password, one of the biggest things they do is go in and change the recovery email. You can go and change your password till you're blue in the face. If the recovery email is going to them, they can just change it back or change it to something else that they know, and then you're locked out again, right? So double check your recovery stuff when you go into your security. Make sure your two-factor authentication phone number is correct and no additional phone numbers have been added. Make sure no additional email addresses have been added. Make sure the email address that's in there is yours. Important things to do. But like I saw one where there were 2 email addresses, and the other one's like, I don't know who that is. And you're like, boom, there it is. Found it. Got rid of them, signed out of all devices, changed the password, signed into a new one, done. But yeah, this person said it turned out someone got into their email, set up a redirect rule to another email, added the email to the device using IMAP, and then we're able to get in that way. I mean, that's pretty nefarious. So make sure you change your email password and review your recent login and device activity if you can. And of course, make sure if it offers multi-factor authentication is the way to go. This person knew they were having a problem because their phone was blowing up. And they wouldn't have known otherwise. They would just had all their accounts, could have their bank accounts drained. Who knows? But because two-factor authentication was on, their phone was blowing up, and they knew that someone was trying to get in their accounts. Like right now, my phone's not blowing up. So I know nobody's trying to get into a majority of my accounts. Yeah. Okay, here, let's see. We got about another 5 minutes left in the show. We got a couple more emails. Let's see what we can get to here. Windows 11 keeps killing itself with this stupid driver. I did a fresh install of Windows 11 on my PC. A couple minutes after starting updates, I get a blue screen, and they show a little image here. So because of the error code I've deduced, it's because of the driver that they underlined and said picture that they took, that they sent to us. Whenever the PC restarts, Windows Updates keeps trying to install it, and as a result, I keep getting that same blue screen. How can I stop Windows from trying to install this messed up driver every time I boot my PC back up? Okay, so the driver you're seeing, I reached out and asked what there was, and it was a Wi-Fi driver, and that Wi-Fi driver was one of those things that it's okay. So Intel, for some reason, put out a Wi-Fi driver that's broken. It is like fundamentally broken. I've seen it. It's been broken in a number of computers. It's just it fails. And sometimes it'll just kill the Wi-Fi. Other times it will totally and completely knock out your machine like it's doing here. So what do? The best thing you can do is to go to the manufacturer on another computer, find that driver. After you reinstall Windows 11 again, you're going to reinstall Windows 11. Don't push any updates. Don't run any updates. Go to the driver or go to the manufacturer of your card and download the latest one you can find. The most recent one. Hopefully it works. Download that, run it on your computer. It will then replace the Windows driver that was on there. And then when Windows goes through and does its updates, the device driver date will be later than the one that they have on file, and it won't install that driver. And it'll just skip past it, and you won't have to deal with it. That's probably the best way to do it. Or if you can't figure it out and you don't have time to do it right now and it's just going to process the update and it's going to screw you up again, you can pause your Windows updates for like a week. And then it gives you time to figure out what you're doing. And then the Windows updates will then resume. It's, I would, if I just did a fresh install, I would just do it again and then don't get that update, go to the manufacturer, get the card, plug it in, the date will supersede it, it'll be later, and then the update won't run. That's just simple, like order of operations stuff that we've got to get past. Okay, another 3 minutes here. Let me see if I got a shorter one that we could talk to. Oh, both these are kind of long. Let's see. Okay. So this one's kind of weird. We'll get through it real quick. So it says that my girlfriend's sister is receiving text from my number that I didn't send. So my girlfriend's sister received text from my number that I didn't send. For context, this is a throwaway account, which I would be deleting. And it says I just didn't want it to get lost in the main stuff. It said that's not important. Last time my girlfriend was going to a party and came shortly after, but the host, let's call him Steve. Steve stopped me on the front lawn and asked who I knew at the party. I told him I was with my girlfriend. He was like, I think she already left, bro. Meanwhile, we were right next to her car, which I pointed at, and he said, oh, I think she's not here, though. Give her a call. And so I did, and she met me outside. The rest of the night, this dude gave my girlfriend no space whatsoever, and she told me later that he liked her. Being weirded out, we left early. Okay. This morning, I got text from my girlfriend asking me why I texted that to her sister, who was at the party that night, and sent a screenshot. I don't have the messages on my phone, and her sister's also supportive, saying that I wouldn't have done that. I'm really suspicious that my phone number was spoofed or something somehow. I had multiple coworkers at the party who all have access to the number via hot schedule, so everyone can see the phone number that he had. Okay. Another weird thing is that that says that I read her messages at 10:35, but the spoof messages were sent at 10:12. So I had read all of her messages, yet there was a message in between that I didn't have on my phone. Doesn't seem to add up. Okay, so right away, just real quick, there are paid services. And this is an SMS. As soon as I saw it was an SMS message, not an iMessage or something like that, all out the window. SMS messages can be written from anywhere. Any company can produce an SMS message and send it to your phone. There's companies out there that will produce literally a text message from your phone number and send it out. Companies for, like, if I wanted to have something come out from my shop, I could have it come from 464-2220 and have it be broadcast to everybody. But it's a landline, so you can't text back. So there are companies that do that. So it's definitely an SMS spoofer. I don't trust SMS text messages. Always use something like WhatsApp if you can. But for this point, that's what happened. Crazy, right? It's someone purchased an SMS thing, and that guy who was being creepazoid probably pays for that, and then tried to break you guys up or something over something. That's so weird. So weird. Such a weird time right now. That's super weird. Okay. Anyway, so that's the end of another Computer Man show. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, @ksqd.org. Remember to tune into the Computer Man show Tuesday nights, here from 6 to 7 p.m. on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Hal Festine, Reggie Dibbing, David Kibbert, John Sandage, all of Santa Cruz, Nicola Tesla, the Wasp, Mr. Casey, Torvalds, and of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on K-Squid, KSQD, 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man, he is your friend. He gonna help you again and again. So if you have a question or two, he's got the answer just for you. I am the computer man, and I am ready for questions now, thank you.
Mr. Computer Man, how much is 2 plus 2?
4.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell cat?
C-A-T.
Mr. Computer Man, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
With letters. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. Computer man is very wise. He speaks the truth, he never lies. So if there's something you don't understand, just ask the computer man.
Hi, Mr. Computer Man. My name is Jenny. I have a question for you.
Wait, Jenny does not compute. What is your number, please?
Number? I don't have a number. I'm a person.
A person? A person? A man?